For some reason, I had this idea that Mobile Fighter G Gundam was 60 episodes long. I swear someone told me that. So when I came home this weekend, like, oh, I'm gonna watch all of Mobile Fighter G Gundam. I'm thinking that like I'm gonna have to watch like 15 more episodes, and then like I actually look at it and I realize it's more like 4. So apparently, I was right near the end for the past couple of months, not finishing the show because, I couldn't take the time to watch it and just like, I have problems sitting and watching shows anyway. But like, I finally, after like, I don't know, a year, 2 years, like, how long was I trying to get through this? Well, like, finally finished Mobile Fighter G Gundam. First Gundam series I watched all the way through. And I absolutely loved it. I would say it's probably one of my favorite anime series. I think, generally speaking, most of my favorites are like manga adaptations. I don't believe there's a manga for this. I believe this was like an anime original thing. So it might be up there with like, top 5 maybe. Like obvious, I still think Ippo's better. I think Legend of the Galactic Heroes is better, but like. When I loved this show, right? Like, there are definitely things you can, like, complain about when it comes to it, like, the structure, the themes, like some of the weird, like, contrivances, right? Like, the fact that a lot of the minor characters don't really do anything, right? There are things you can complain about with the show. Like, I think the big thing for me is that it's too long, right? Like, I don't think it needed to be 50 episodes. Like, to me, like, everything that happens after, like, he gets the God Gundam is, like, kind of superfluous, right? Like, what's the point of the tournament at the end? Like, why didn't it just end there, Like, he's already beaten the Devil Gun. It's like, it just drags out unnecessarily. Like, the entire point of the second half seems to be, like, to really solidify the fact that, like, Rain and Domon are, like, perfect for each other, right? He meets another chick, and, like, he just commits to Rain. It's a legit, really good love story, but, like, other than that, right? Other than that, like, I found myself, like, really confused about, like, the tournament and its structure, right? Like, Schwarzbrüder is, like, specifically stated to have, like, never lost, and yet, like, Domon beats him. Right, a fight we've been, like, waiting for the entire series, by the way. Like, Doman beats him, and then, like, he's just not part of the Battle Royale. Like, you have this... Like, isn't the entire series up to this point, like, a Battle Royale? So you're telling me that we spent, like, the first 20 episodes, doing the Battle Royale thing, traveling the world, like, visiting all these cultures, fighting all these people, and then we go to Hong Kong... Neo-Hong Kong. We go to Neo-Hong Kong, go into a more structured tournament structure, which has no brackets, like, no clear rule set. Argo loses a fight and yet doesn't get sent home, right? Like, and then, like, it just goes to a battle royale with, like, the finalists anyway. Like, what was the point of that, Like, it took them a year to finish this Gundam fight. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It takes them a year to have an election, essentially. One that's held every 4 years, by the way. So, like, in another 3 years, they're just going to do the same thing over again? Like, what? It's just so... It's weird, because, like, on one hand, it's, like, really well thought out and fun and engaging. The animation is great. The characters are fun and memorable. They all have, like, really good introductory episodes. But then, like, they don't really do a whole lot with them, right? Like, the Shuffle Alliance is a really good example of this, where, like, all of them are really well-designed, interesting characters. They're all fun. They all have great backstories. They all have great introduction episodes. Great, like, episodes focusing on them. But when you really, like, look in, like, the overarching story, like, what do they really contribute to the plot, right? In a lot of ways, like, the weaker episodes are ones that, like, revolve entirely around them. Instead of, like, focusing and developing, like, all these characters so that that they're unique and interesting and that you're invested in them. Like, it's basically just 50 episodes, well, 49 episodes of just Domon beating everybody with like the same attack over and over again. And it never gets old, right? It absolutely does not up until the very end. But like you get the sense that like they needed to trim the script a little bit. Like they needed like I don't know if they had to pad out the episode count or like but like it does kind of feel like to me that this series could have been massively condensed and just become a way better product, right? And it's such a shame too, because like even as it is now, like it is absolutely some of the best anime I've seen in a long time. I know that's not saying much because I haven't like watched a ton of anime, but like, you know, some of these individual like moments are like now some of my all-time favorites. You know, I don't even know how many times I've spent like, you know, over the past year just parodying the whole like my hope, my anger, my like it's just like parodying that speech he gives to like the Neo Egypt guy where he just like my love, my anger, and all of my sorrow. That's it. Like I can't begin to tell you just how many times I've listened to that and watched it and like thought about it and like said it myself. Like it is like legit one of the best like anime quotes I've ever seen. Like this is why I watch anime is crazy shit like that. And like it's a highlight of the show to be sure. And like in a lot of ways like you kind of feel like you kind of wish that more of the show was like that, right? Like, you know, focused more on like, you know, fighting people from different cultures and like emphasizing the martial arts aspect and like it just doesn't really do a good job of that specifically, right? Like the series is like what it really excels at is like just introducing and developing the character of like Domen Kasu, right? Where he's a martial artist wandering the earth with his like hot mechanic Dr. GF. And they're just getting into all these misadventures together. And you learn more about them and their background and their history and stuff like that. And what ends up happening is that you really start like understanding these characters and their problems and their relationship and like seeing just how it develops at the end. Like I mentioned earlier how it like kind of felt like at the end that like the entire thing is kind of a love story. And I do genuinely think that. Like I think they did a really, really good job emphasizing like building up to this like insane relationship drama to the point where like basically Doman has to like admit his feelings for this girl at the end. It's like it's just peak Kino. It really absolutely is. Like I do have gripes about it, right? Like there's so many like missed opportunities in this show. Like I remember like there's this one episode where like the Princess Maria Luis like witnesses a murder. And I'm just watching this, and it has such a great build-up. It's such a great use of the character. It could have been like a really well-implemented thing that really like details the political structure of the world and stuff like that. But now it just kind of happens. It's resolved really quickly, and all that happens is that like Maria Luis is just like that guy Wong is terrible. Like, and it's just like. Why is Wong even in this series? Like, like a big issue I have with the tournament arc is because of this guy. Because like he's working together with Master Asia to manipulate behind the scenes and like do all this stuff, like to control the Devil Gundam and like they're fighting, you know, about what they want to do with it. It's like Master Asia does this thing where he's just like, oh, like I was just using him, and then Wong is just like, I was just using him, and yet like, you know, Master Asia is a great antagonist, and Wong just isn't. Like it's like the character just exists to pad out to like just be the antagonist, to be an antagonist that just manipulates the Gundam fights and just controls everything, and it just feels like really artificial and contrived, especially because like the character is never mentioned in the first half of the series. Like it's just like, why not just have Asia be the antagonist, and it's just like the central antagonist. Like it just feels weird. Like he's supposed to be fighting the tournament as well, and yet you never see him fight. You know, you're just supposed to believe that like Dalmon, Schwarz, like Master are all like just winning all their matches. Like how there aren't even that many like contestants in the finals. It's like, who are they all fighting? Like why does it go on as long as it does? Like it doesn't make any sense, right? It just and there's a lot of things that don't make sense about this series. Like, why is Neo Mexico's space colony a giant sombrero? It's just goofy anime bullshit that like takes itself really seriously and generally does a really good job of doing it. But like, there are just so many times where it just like drops the ball unnecessarily. Like, it just, it's so frustrating how much I love this series and how much I just really genuinely enjoyed like the story and the characters and stuff like that, and just seeing it fall short of just being like absolute like peak like animation, right? And it's close. It's still really good. I would still like highly recommend it, but like I do think it needs to be understood that like you do need to have like an appreciation for just like insane shit to like really appreciate what this series is. Like it has this weird like supernatural martial artist vibe like theme in spite of being about giant robots, and I could see that putting a lot of people off. Like I could see people being disappointed by like a lot of the fight sequences. Like a lot of the ones early on are just fantastic, but towards the end, like they just get kind of derivative and just uninspired and don't look great. You know, like I said, like the fight with Schwartz Bruder is kind of disappointing. Like compared to like Domon fighting like Asia for the first time, or like some of the early fights with like the main characters, like it's like it feels almost like it could have done so much more in that way. Like I feel like I would have preferred the series to be shorter and have tighter, more intense fights, better animation like all throughout, as opposed to like just dragging it out. Like to me, I do strongly believe that like projects like this being longer don't necessarily make them better, quote unquote. So I really enjoyed the series, but like my impression on this is that like it didn't need to be this long, and it did really need to establish the motivations of the antagonist better. Because like Master Asia does this thing where he's just like acts comically evil, and then he like says things like, "No, I'm going to use the Devil Gundam to like revive the Earth." It's like, well, are you like? It's like trying to give him sympathetic qualities to him, right? There are like all these really good moments, and then there's just like stuff like that, stuff like his like partnership with Wong, where you're just kind of like, this detracts from this like amazing character, this amazing antagonist. It's just I feel like it could have been so much more. Is kind of my feeling on that. But as a whole, I really love the series. I definitely want to see more of it, and I'm interested in seeing more Gundam. So we'll have to see which series I pick out next. And until next time.